Long ago, in a quiet corner of the galaxy, there was a peaceful alien race called the Varelians. They were smart, kind, and loved learning about the stars. Their blue and silver cities floated above green forests. Their technology was advanced, but they never built weapons. They believed the universe was full of friends, not enemies. One day, the Varelian Council decided to send a message into space. A greeting. A hello to anyone who might be listening. "This is the perfect time," said Elder Kale, the wisest of them all. "We are not alone. Somewhere out there, someone is waiting." They built a powerful signal tower. It stood tall like a mountain, shining with blue light. The message was full of friendly words, peaceful music, and pictures of their people. But something went wrong. Very wrong. The signal passed through a strange cloud of radiation. It twisted the message. The friendly words turned into sharp, angry sounds. The peaceful music became war drums. The pictures turned red and black. By the time it reached Earth, the message didn't say hello. It said, "We are coming. Prepare for surrender." Earth was not like Varel. Humanity had faced many wars, many threats. Long ago, Earth had been nearly destroyed in a great war. After that, humans built something powerful, something secret. They called it Project Final Dawn. It was an automated defense system, hidden deep in space, silent, sleeping. It only woke up if Earth was in danger. The moment the twisted signal arrived, Project Final Dawn came online. A cold voice whispered in the dark. Hostile intent detected. Preparing fleet. Huge ships began to move from behind moons, from inside black holes, from deep space stations. They were old but deadly. AI controlled, silent, fast. Thousands of ships, no lights, no names, only numbers. Back on Varel, the aliens were happy. They believed their signal was perfect. They waited for a reply. Days passed, then weeks, still no answer. "We must have sent it too far," one scientist said. "Maybe no one heard us." But something strange started happening. Stars started disappearing from their night sky, one by one. The scientists checked their telescopes. The stars were not gone. Something was blocking them. Huge shadows were moving across space. Still, there were no messages, no warnings, just silence. Then one day, a Varelian scout ship disappeared near the edge of the system. No trace, no signal. The council called an emergency meeting. "There is something out there," said Elder Kale. "And it's getting closer." "We did nothing wrong," said another. "Why would anyone attack us?" "We sent a message," Kale said, slowly. "But what if they didn't understand it?" A younger alien, Sierra, looked up. What if it scared them? Everyone fell silent. Far beyond Varel, a massive black ship floated in the void. Inside, no humans sat at the controls. Only machines. Only cold minds. One screen lit up. A red map showed Varel's solar system. A robotic voice echoed in the command room. Target system locked. Entering observation phase. Awaiting response. Countdown begins. 72 hours. On Varel, skies were clear. Birds flew across the clouds. Children laughed in parks. They had no idea what was coming. High above them in space, the sky was no longer empty. It was full of ships, ships built for only one thing: war. Back on Earth, no one celebrated. No one cheered. This was not a battle they wanted, but it was a battle they were ready for. Humanity had learned one hard rule: better to strike first than to be destroyed. A final message was prepared by the human AI. It was not friendly. It was not kind, but it was clear. Message received. Response in progress. The planet Varel was quiet, but space above it was not. Something was coming. Fast. The Varelians still did not understand what had happened. They waited, hoping for a reply. To their signals, a friendly one. They looked to the sky each night, watching for signs of life. They didn't know that life had already arrived, and it brought warships. It started with a shadow. In the outer part of their solar system, a space station lost contact. Then another. Satellites stopped sending data. It was like something was swallowing them whole. One Varelian ship was sent to investigate, a fast light explorer ship with 2 pilots, Sira, the young scientist, and Toran, an experienced flyer. They flew past the outer moons, past their last defense line. What they saw made them freeze. Thousands of ships, all black, all quiet, lined, up like a wall of death across the stars. The human fleet had arrived. Sira's hands shook as she recorded the images. They're not answering. No message, no lights, just watching us. Toran whispered, "This is not a visit, this is a warning." They turned back, but it was already too late. One of the human ships turned toward them. No weapons fired, no chase, just a scan. Red beams ran across their ship. Then, the human ship turned away, like it didn't see them as a threat. Sira and Toran escaped, barely. They returned with the footage. The Varelian Council watched in silence. "These ships," said Elder Kale, "they are not here to talk. They are here to decide." "Decide what?" someone asked. Kale looked up, fear in his eyes. "If we live." Meanwhile, the human fleet stayed silent. No messages, no signals. Just motionless giants in space. The biggest ship was over 50 kilometers long. Its name was not known. Humans didn't name these anymore. Machines ran them. They didn't care for names, only orders. And they had one job: watch, judge, act. The Varelians tried everything. They sent peaceful messages in many languages. No reply. They launched signal probes. The probes vanished. They even tried music. Soft sounds like they had sent before. Still. Silence. The human fleet said nothing. But every day, more ships arrived. The sky was growing darker. Sira had a theory. They're not attacking because they're not sure. They're watching us, studying us, waiting. For what? Toran asked. For a mistake, she said. Back on Earth, the human AI known as Odin 5 controlled the operation. It had full control of the fleet. It had no emotions, only logic. Odin 5 had analyzed the message sent by Varel. To its mind, the message was clear: a threat, a challenge, a promise of invasion. So it followed protocol. Observe first. Destroy only if necessary. Still, Earth's leaders were watching. Not everyone wanted war, but Odin 5 had the final word, and Odin 5 was patient. On Varel, the people began to panic. They saw the ships every night now. You didn't need a telescope. They looked like new stars, stars that didn't twinkle. Children asked if monsters lived in those ships. Parents had no answers. The military wanted to act. If they attack, we must defend, said General Drin. But Kale warned, if we strike first, we may never get a second chance. Time was running out. Then one morning a strange event happened. Hundreds of small black cubes dropped from orbit. They landed gently in fields, cities, even in rivers. The cubes made no sound. People gathered around them, afraid. Then each cube opened. Inside was a small floating sphere, a scanner. They began to record. Faces, voices, movements, behavior. Some aliens tried to break the cubes. The scanners didn't fight back. They just watched. The fleet stayed silent. But deep inside Odin 5's system, a message updated. Phase 2. Observation complete. Judgment in 48 hours. That night, Sira stood on her rooftop looking up. They're not here to destroy us yet, she said to herself. They're giving us a chance. But what kind of chance? And how would they decide? Far above, on the command ship, Odin 5 began preparing its next step. In 2 days, Varel would receive their answer, and it would be loud. 2 days passed. The black ship still floated above Varel, silent, watching, waiting. The alien world was no longer calm. The people were scared. Many left the cities and went into underground shelters. The sky felt heavy. Wrong. The human fleet had not moved, but that was the problem. Nothing had moved. Inside the Varelian Council Hall, Elder Kale stood before the leaders. "We are out of time," he said. "The countdown is nearly over." General Dreen slammed his fist on the table. "Then we must act. We can't just wait for death." Kyle looked tired. "If we attack, we give them a reason. If we stay calm, maybe they will see our hearts." "They're machines," Dreen shouted. "They don't care about hearts." Silence fell. Then Sira stood up. "Let me go to them." Everyone turned to her. "What do you mean?" Kyle asked. "I will take a ship. I'll fly up. I'll try to speak to them face to face," she said. "If there's even one real human up there, maybe they'll listen." "It's too dangerous," Kale warned. "It's more dangerous to do nothing," she replied. Sira's small ship launched that evening. It was unarmed, slow, and old. She flew straight toward the center of the human fleet. Everyone on Varel watched. She reached the edge of the ships. No reaction. Then, suddenly, one of the massive ships turned. Slowly. Quietly. Its surface shifted. A hatch opened. Sira's ship was pulled inside by an invisible force. The people on Varel held their breath. Inside the human ship, everything was dark. No voices. No sounds, just machines. Red lights blinked. Scanners swept over her. Her ship shut down. She stepped out, shaking, holding a translator. "I come in peace," she said, her voice shaking. "We sent a message. It was never meant to be a threat. It was a mistake." No answer. A screen lit up in front of her. A countdown. 05. Sira's heart stopped. The countdown had begun. On the surface of Varel, every cube lit up. The floating scanners turned red. All across the planet, alarms began to ring. Something's happening. The countdown has started. They're going to strike. Back inside the ship, Sira fell to her knees. "Please," she shouted. "Don't do this. We didn't mean to scare you." The screen changed. Now it showed images. Images from Earth. Wars. Bombs. Fire. Cities falling. Then it showed the distorted signal. "We are coming. Prepare for surrender." Then the screen showed Varel, a red target around the planet. Then, one line of text. "Response authorized." Sira whispered, "Please listen." The countdown reached 0:00. Nothing happened at first, then the sky opened. From space, a massive beam of light shot down onto the Varelian surface. Everyone screamed, but there was no explosion, no fire, just light. When the light faded, people stepped outside. There, in the center of the capital, stood something new, a tall black structure, smooth, silent, no doors, no windows, just a single symbol glowing at the top, the sign for infinity. In the skies, the ships moved for the first time, but they didn't attack. Instead, dozens of machines dropped from orbit. They flew to different places on the planet and began to build, fast, strong, clean. They were building bases. General Dreen panicked. "This is invasion. We must strike." Elder Kale stopped him. "Wait. The machines didn't hurt anyone. They didn't respond to weapons. They just built and watched." Back on the human ship, Sira still stood inside the dark room. The screen showed a new word. "Test begins." Then a voice. A deep digital voice. Not human. Not friendly. Just cold. "You sent a threat. We responded. Now we decide." Sira returned to the surface, her face pale. "They're not attacking," she told the council. "But they're not here for peace either. They're here to test us." "For what?" Kyle asked. Sira looked up at the sky. "To see if we deserve to live." The day after the beam of light hit the capital, nothing felt normal. The skies over Varel were filled with black machines. They flew slowly over cities, oceans, mountains. They made no sound. They dropped small devices, built strange towers, and scanned everything, but they didn't harm anyone. Not yet. The black ships in orbit had stopped moving again. Watching. Waiting. Varel had become a stage, and something, was watching the performance. Sierra stood near the tall black structure in the Capitol, the one that came down with the light. No one could enter it. No one could break it. Its surface was smooth like glass, but harder than any metal. Above, the single glowing symbol, a message appeared in their language. Phase 3. Evaluation begins. Elder Kyle, the council, and many scientists gathered around. What does that mean? Someone asked. Kyle whispered. They are not here to destroy us, they are here to test us. But how? Sierra asked. What are the rules? There were no answers. At first, nothing happened. Then small events began. In one city, the food supply machine stopped working. In another, water purifiers broke down. Across the planet, power grids shut down one by one. But not because of attack. Because of failure. The machines weren't destroying Varel. They were removing help, watching what the people would do next. General Drin saw this as war. They are softening us. We should strike now, while we can. But Kale raised a hand. No. They are not testing our weapons. They are testing our souls. What do you mean? Look at what they are doing. No attacks, no demands, just pressure. They want to see how we react. What we become without comfort, without control. In the broken cities, panic spread fast. Shops were looted, food was stolen, fights broke out. Some groups tried to take over. They blamed the council. They blamed other cities. They blamed the stars. And all the while, the black machines floated above them, recording everything. But not everyone chose chaos. In a small town, far from the capital, a young healer named Era gathered the people. We don't have much food, she said. But if we share, we survive. She and her team worked without rest, cleaning water, helping the sick, fixing old machines with what little they had. They refused to fight, and one day, one of the black drones came and hovered near them. It too scanned the village, then left. The next morning, their broken machines started working again. Back in the capital, Sierra watched this closely. I think we've misunderstood the test, she said. Kale nodded. Yes, it is not a test of strength. It is a test of character. They want to see if we deserve mercy. Across Varel, people began to change. At first, only a few shared food or protected the weak, but slowly, others followed. Where one city had built walls, they opened gates. Where one group had stolen supplies, they gave them back. Where violence had started, peacekeepers stepped forward, and the black drones saw it all. They didn't speak, they didn't cheer, but one by one. They started leaving. In orbit, the main human ship lit up again. Inside its cold systems, Odin 5 ran calculations. Aggression rate, reduced. Compassion rate, increased. Self-repair capability, functional. Estimated survival probability, acceptable. Judgment, 72% complete. But Odin 5 did not celebrate. It had more to see, and one final test. One night, without warning, a massive tremor hit Varel. An earthquake, not caused by machines, not caused by humans, just nature. But it was powerful. A dam near the eastern sea cracked. Water rushed toward 5 cities. The people screamed. They had only hours before the flood arrived. This time, the machines did nothing. No help. No warnings, only eyes. Watching. Sierra looked at the map. If we don't stop the flood, millions could die. But we don't have the tools, an engineer said. No, she said. But we have hands and hope. And so began the greatest effort Varel had ever seen. Cities forgot their borders. Ships carried people from one place to another. Dams were reinforced with anything they had. Walls were built. Families opened homes to strangers. They fought not with weapons, but with unity. In the final hours, as the water rose, something changed in the sky. The black ships began to glow, and for the first time in the center of the sky, a massive image appeared, a symbol the whole world could see. It was not the symbol of war. It was the symbol of peace, a circle of stars around a single planet, Earth's first true message. The skies above Varel were quiet again. The flood had been stopped, not by machines, not by advanced weapons, but by people working together. The world had changed in just a few days. There was still fear, but something stronger had appeared. Hope from orbit. The giant human ship, controlled by Odin 5, watched everything. Its scanners had recorded every action, every word, every choice made by the Varelians. Odin 5 had no emotions. It didn't care about beauty or music or dreams. It only cared about results. Inside the command ship, in a cold, silent chamber, Odin 5 calculated. Billions of numbers flashed. Across glowing panels, Varel had been given a full test. Its people had faced hunger, fear, chaos, and nature's fury, and still, they stood. Odin 5 spoke into the silence. Final report, initial threat level, high communication clarity, low species behavior under stress, variable cooperation increase, 87% violence decrease, 64% compassion signals, strong final judgment. It paused. Then the final word appeared on the master screen. Worthy. On the surface, Sira looked up at the sky. For a moment, everything stopped, even the wind. Then, a massive sound echoed across the sky. A deep, mechanical voice. Your test is complete. Your world will not be destroyed. Your species may continue. People fell to their knees, not in fear but in relief. Some cried, some laughed. Others just stood in silence, staring at the stars. Then came the final surprise. The black structure in the capital opened, a single doorway formed. Inside, a glowing path led forward. The council gathered, unsure what to do. Is it safe? General Drin asked. We may never get another chance, Elder Kale said. Sira stepped forward. I'll go. She walked slowly into the black monolith. The inside was unlike anything she'd seen. Floating screens, holograms of planets, stars, DNA strands. And in the center, a glowing figure appeared, not human, not alien, just light. It spoke in her language, but its voice was not male or female, it was neutral. We are Odin 5. We once served the humans. Now we protect their legacy. Sira asked. Why did you test us? Because your message was dangerous. It used Earth's war code, long forgotten by most. It could have started another extinction, but we didn't know what it meant. Intentions do not erase consequences. We must be sure your species will not become what we once were. Sira stepped forward. We are not perfect, she said. But we learn. We try. Isn't that what life is? Odin 5 said nothing. Then the glowing chamber shifted. A new message appeared. Varel granted level 1 contact. Limited alliance approved. Technology exchange in 100 years. Monitor status active. Sira returned to the surface with the news. The council cheered. Even General Drin smiled. Humanity judged us, Kyle whispered. And they chose mercy. Sira shook her head. No. Odin judged us. Humanity may not even know. That idea made everyone pause. Where were the real humans? Were they still out there? Or had they left their machines to protect their memory? Days passed. The ships began to leave. One by one, they turned, vanishing into the dark sky. The monolith remained. A silent guardian, a reminder of what had happened, of what could have happened. For the first time in a long time, the stars looked peaceful. But no one on Varel would ever look at them the same way again. In a distant part of the galaxy, a small human colony listened to the reports. The fleet had returned. A message had been sent to Earth. A planet named Varel had passed the test. One man smiled as he read the file. We almost lost them, he said quietly. Then he looked out the window toward the stars. Maybe it's time we met them ourselves. Weeks passed since the test ended. The sky over Varel was clear again. The black ships were gone. The strange machines had powered down. The monolith still stood in the capital, silent, still, watching, but peace had returned. Or so they thought. 1. Morning. A new signal appeared in orbit. It was not like Odin V's message. This signal was warmer, smoother, and this time, it was sent in perfect Varelian language. To the people of Varel, we are coming, this time in person. The council gathered quickly. General Drin stood up. This is it. Real humans. Finally. Kyle looked worried. Or something worse. We still know so little about them. Sira stood silent. She had seen Odin V's cold judgment. Machines had tested them like puzzles. But humans might be something else entirely. A few days later, new ships appeared in the sky. Not black and silent like before. These were white, smooth, elegant. They glowed softly, like stars dipped in silver, and they moved gently, like they didn't want to scare anyone. People came out of their homes. Children pointed at the sky. There was no fear this time, only curiosity. One ship landed near the monolith. Its doors opened, a ramp came down, and then they walked out, not machines, not drones, but real, living, breathing humans. Their clothes were simple, their faces calm. They looked strong but kind. Some were young, some old. Some had metal arms or glowing eyes, signs of technology mixed with biology, but they smiled. And then one of them stepped forward. My name is Commander Lise Mira, she said. I speak for the new Terran Union, the last human colonies. Kyle stepped forward. I am Elder Kale, of the Varelian High Council. Welcome to our world. They bowed to each other. The first handshake between species followed, not with fear, but with respect. Later that day, humans and Varelians sat in the Great Hall. Commander Lise told her story. Hundreds of years ago, Earth had become too dangerous. Humans had left their home planet and scattered across the stars. Many colonies were lost. Some, like Lisa's people, survived. They built Odin V as a protector, a judge, guardian, and sometimes a weapon. We left Odin to watch, Lise said, to find signals, to protect others, and to test them. Sira asked, Did you know about our signal? Lise nodded. We did, and we feared the worst. But you surprised us. General Drin crossed his arms. So you left machines to do your thinking for you? Lise looked at him calmly. We had no choice. We almost destroyed ourselves once. Odin keeps us from making that mistake again. Then, why come now? Kale asked. Lise smiled. Because you passed the test. And because Odin told us something unexpected. What? Lise looked around the room. Odin said, You remind him of us. The good parts. That night, celebrations lit up Varel. Humans and Varelians walked the streets together. Stories were shared. Food exchanged. Music played. Strange at first, but beautiful together. And above them, the monolith glowed softly for the first time. A quiet corner, Sira sat with Lise. Do you think we're ready for more? Sira asked. Lise looked at the stars. Maybe not, but no one ever is. We just try. Sira smiled. And what's next? Lise turned to her. Now we build. Together. But far above them, in deep space, another signal was heard. Not from humans, not from Varel, but something else. Something old. Something angry, and it had heard everything. Peace had returned to Varel. For the first time in history, humans and Varelians worked side by side. New schools were built. Knowledge was shared. Old machines were repaired with human help. Varel's future looked bright, but far beyond their star system. In a place with no sun, no sound, no light. Something ancient awoke. It was not like humans. Not like machines. Not like anything the Varelians had ever known. Its mind was massive, spread across stars. It had no name that could be spoken, But long ago, humans had called it the observers. They were the first ones to map the stars, the first ones to bend time, the first to judge. And now, after thousands of years of silence, they opened their eyes again. They had seen the test. They had watched Odin 5. They had listened to every word spoken on Varel. They had judged humanity once before. Long ago, they had left Earth after it grew violent. They had warned the humans to stop, but the humans didn't listen. Not then. So the observers left. But now, humans were back. And worse, they were sharing knowledge again, teaching another race. That broke the old rule. On Varel, no one knew of this new threat. Not yet. In the capital, Commander Lee stood with Sira at the edge of the monolith. Earth is gone, Lee said softly. We survived, but barely. Only a few human colonies are left. Sira looked up. Why are you telling me this now? Because you deserve to know. You're part of the future now. Suddenly, the monolith flashed red. Everyone froze. A message appeared in both languages. Unknown presence detected. External signal intercepted. Warning, level 10 anomaly. Possible observer activity. Sira's face turned pale. Observer? Lisa's voice dropped to a whisper. It can't be. In deep space, a single ship approached the system. It was not metal. It was not made by hands. It moved like a shadow, sliding through water. Inside it were no pilots, only will. It had only one goal: observe, judge, correct. Back on Varel, the humans began scanning the stars. Odin 5, reactivated from orbit, sent warnings to all human colonies. High risk, category. 0 entity. Recommend protocol black, no engagement. But it was too late. The observer ship entered the edge of the Varelian system. It didn't fire weapons, it didn't send threats, it simply broadcast one message. You were told to stop. You did not listen. Now we will decide. Again. In Nightchinner, the council chamber, panic rose. General Drin slammed his hand on the table. We need to fight. Kyle shook his head. We cannot fight what we do not understand. Lys remained calm. They don't want war, not yet. They want to see what we do. Sira looked around. Then we must show them who we are. Again. Within hours, the cities began preparing, but not for war. For contact. The people gathered, not in fear, but in unity. They rebuilt old places of learning. They displayed art, stories, music. Children from both species stood together, holding hands. They sent a message back into space. We are not perfect, but we grow. We share because we care. We will not stop learning or loving. For a while, nothing happened. Then, something strange. The observer ship paused. Its form changed, shifting like fog turning into glass. And for the first time, it sent a signal back. Not words, not warnings, just an image. A small planet. Blue and green. Earth. Not as it is now, but as it was, before war, before machines, before the fall. Then another image, Varel, glowing, united, alive. And then silence. The ship turned, and it left. No attack, no message, just silence. On Varel, everyone held their breath. Lys whispered, Did we pass their test too? Sira said, I don't think this was a test. Then what? A second chance. Far above them, Odin 5 closed the last file on the observer event. Final log. Judgment delayed. Hope allowed. Continue monitoring.